What's going on, family? I hope everybody's in positive, fruitful spirits during this new year time. All right. Regardless of this being the real new year, fake new year. I just hope everybody's in a great space entering 2023. All right. I've been all over the place this week. I'm back home visiting family. I've been doing in-person readings all week. So I haven't been able to get up on here and chat with you. I've been spending a lot of family time. However, I do want to complete the rest of the signs for Capricorn season. Y'all know I'm very long-winded. I'm very talkative. So I thought, you know what? Let me just make a recorded video, get these energies out. Is already long overdue. Okay. And even though we're 4 moon signs away from that new moon peak, the sun is 9 degrees Capricorn. Is still somewhat early. We have a lot of Capricorn season left. All right. And a lot of these energies I was talking about with the house that you have Capricorn in being activated, this continues to be a theme throughout the winter solstice because Capricorn starts this entire solstice. So these are things that we're gonna have to keep in mind, period. But it is important to understand how this house is activated and what's going on with the relationship when the new moon peaked in this house and how it had contact with Jupiter and what these things mean. All right. So in the first live stream, we went through Aries suns and risings all the way through Libra suns and risings. So I just want to get through Scorpio through Pisces. All right. So Scorpio suns and risings, you guys, your third house is activated right now. All right. Your relationship house, one of your relationship social houses is activated. The third house correlates to more of your familiar, close friendships, siblings, relatives, distant motherfucking cousins and shit. All right. Your close friends, people in your neighborhood, people that your roommates, people in your surroundings. All right. And you have Capricorn here. So you've always manifested a lot of circumstances in this house where you may have had friendships that feel real transactional. You may have had friendships where you feel like if somebody not doing something for you, or if you're not doing something for somebody, people uh try to hold you on this pedestal for you to bring your value, for you being able to bring something to build with or resource. So you may feel like that with your friendships a lot of the times, and then this Capricorn here starts to make you look at friendships and interactions with others, communicating with others in a more practical manner. You start to develop tendencies feeling like, what's the point of pouring into this relationship if we're not building with each other, if we're not, exchanging some form of resources, this, that, and the third. So it's important. It's great to have that sense of earth and air houses so you can be grounded and as realistic as possible with how you deal with relationships in your life. But at the same time, wherever earth is at can become a little too dry, a little too cold, and may have to learn how to be a bit more open or be a bit more sensitive towards the energies that are in their relationships. Okay. Now this house is activated. The new moon peaked here. All right. So this Capricorn season is dealing with a whole new awareness of you finding out what people, places, and things that are in your third house that don't need to be in the third house. And this is kind of a good thing that I'm doing these signs for you guys, that Scorpio through Pisces, y'all y'all have got a chance to feel this energy out, throughout the week. Well, I would say like a week and a half since my last live stream. So you guys are already picking up on these energies. So right now, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio risings, pay close attention to your close relationships and pay close attention to what has been playing out as a burden in your familiar surroundings, whether it is a roommate, whether it is a close relationship. Maybe there may need to be some boundaries, restrictions, limitations, Saturn energy, Capricorn energy that needs to be placed amongst your friendships or your social circle in some type of shape or form. You'll know this on an intuitive level by you picking up these influences, by you feeling like something's about to transform and change with one of your relationships if you don't make a realistic decision on how uh how you pour into it, how you uh choose to uphold it. All right. So that's very important. At the same time, many opportunities can come out of here. This is going to be a time where you can block opportunities, Scorpio Sun's risings, by basically entertaining relationships that of no substance, relationships that not teaching you nothing, not helping you to build, not helping understand you. You're not bringing understanding of value to somebody. They're not bringing value to you right now. This is third house energy. So with the new moon and the sun transiting here, it's going to bring more awareness as to what relationships you do have in your life that you need to pour into, that you need to continue to support, that you do need to uphold. So it's giving you both spectrum, Scorpio Sun's risings right now, right? People, it could be a time. This is also a time where the opinions and critiques of people, you have to filter them thoroughly. You have to make sure that you have boundaries placed up with how easy certain other people's thoughts, opinions, and critiques about things penetrate and influence what you want to do around this time. All right. This is a Mercury ruled house. So just best believe with transits through this house, you're gonna deal with some sense of criticism by default. By default. Okay. But yes, this is a time where you're gonna see both ends of the spectrum. Relationships that you should be pouring into, supporting, you know, being more reliable in, and then relationships that you feel a heavy burden from. The Capricorn bring a sense of responsibility, so the responsibility of the relationship may feel too heavy. And relationships are responsibilities, but when it comes into a lack of reciprocation, then you'll get to be like, okay, what am I? Why am I still pouring into this? Right? So this type of energy, you want to gauge both of these things. Now, when the new moon peaked, all right, the sun and new moon in your third house was squaring Jupiter in the sixth house. So you have Jupiter transiting this sixth house, for 2023, and Jupiter coming into the sixth house. There's a lot of shifts that's going to take place in your sixth house. All right, when we got them generational planets coming in them Earth houses. All right, so we got Jupiter coming in the sixth house, uh, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio risings. Going into 2023, routine and regimen is a huge thing. You cannot take things lightly with your wellness, especially if you came into this season and there was already things you needed to tidy up with your wellness. Your skin start breaking out. You like, damn, I need to drink more water. You start you don't like how your well-being feels, period. You're a little anxious about things. Why is that? Is that a lack of sleep? Is it overwhelming schedule routine in some type of shape or form? Are the things in your schedule and routine positive, fruitful, or are there a lot of extra burdens and responsibilities in the sixth house that we don't need? So with Jupiter in this house, it's going to try to make sense of this on a more philosophical level. All right, it's going to help you to understand the spiritual significance of why routine, regiment, these things are so important. Now, the thing about Jupiter in the sixth house is a little debilitated here. So Jupiter deals with spirituality, philosophy, but in this motherfucking sixth house, we're dealing with order, schedule, practicality. So right now, there's gonna be 2023 is gonna have a lot to do with you guys experimenting and taking risks with new things in the sixth house, things that you want to build, things, new aspirations of things you want to navigate in your career path. But understand you have to embrace making mistakes right now. Jupiter in earth houses, especially like the sixth and the 10th house, are prone to make some mistakes, but that's part of the learning. That's part of the expansion. But the lack of taking initiative to go ahead and experiment and explore with something you're trying to build, okay, that's Jupiter's gonna be it. Jupiter could be at it could get real harsh in the sixth house. It could get really harsh here. All right. Anywhere Jupiter is at, we're supposed to know better. We're supposed to do better if we know better. So all the things you may have struggled with trying to get in order in the sixth house, which you got Aries in the sixth house, right? Right, you got Aries in that sixth house. So a lot of the times, Aries in the sixth house, things can be real fast paced with your routine, real fast paced with your routine and schedule. You can deal with a lot of distractions. Aries in the sixth house, people throwing their personal tasks and issues at you while you're trying to get your shit stable, you know, or you have a real individual nature in the workplace that causes transformations at time. So Jupiter in Aries is going to be reminding you of everything that you know, all the knowledge and wisdom that you have, all the expertise and skill that you have. And this is a year to experiment with these things in the sixth house and see what they can grow into. All right. But understand, Jupiter works quick with karma. So with it in the sixth house, a week of a bullshit ass week of the lack of schedule routine can set your ass back, can set you a month back. So let's not play with that sixth house, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio risings. We could make a whole 180 lifestyle shift, making sure we take care of that sixth house. All right. And by you got the third house, right? The Gemini house. And then you got the sixth house, Virgo house, these both Mercury houses. So, this alignment is showing you we can bring way more stability to your social circle, way more stability to your surroundings, based off of how locked in you could get into that sixth house. This also means you have to be careful from allowing third house energies to affect the sixth house, because that's part of that square here. So sometimes we're trying to implement something new into the sixth house, but then we have third house habits, third house tendencies, third house mentalities, third house relationships, friends, and influences in our environment that can throw off our ability to maintain and stay consistent with a sixth house regiment routine, or all the things that we know can provide a better sense of wellness in our life. All right, Scorpio Sun, Scorpio risings, that's what we got going on. Okay, Sagittarius sun risings in the building. All right. So you guys, second house is activated for my Sag sun, Sag risings. Okay. That second house is activated. Now you just had Sag, you should be you coming off a Sag, especially my Sag risings. Y'all coming off a little high right now. A lot of y'all should be feeling on top of the world. The sun just transited the first house. Then before the sun got into that second house with Capricorn, you had Venus transiting here, which is a home placement. So all Venus does in that second house is make everything dealing with stability and security and your self-esteem a high priority, a high responsibility, and it filters out all people, places, and things that affect your sense of self-esteem. Anything that you were valuing on a negative level, the Venus definitely pointed that out, and it gave you more access to it too. So you could have overindulged some more, but if you did overindulge in certain things that bring you pleasure, superficial habits or whatnot with Venus in the second house, then you probably manifested a transformative moment, a crisis-like moment, and realized you got to cut some shit off, you know. So, but your value system. When Venus is transiting the second house, not only is a self-esteem boost, but everything when it comes into how you feel about yourself and what you feel like you're capable about, Venus adds a lot of encouragement and support towards them things. And sometimes that support and encouragement can come from the external realm, not just how you feel inside, not just a random inspiration. So that was big. Now you had the new moon, which is exalted in the second house, peak in your second house. All right. So with that second house being activated right now, Sagittarius, especially you coming off a sun in the first house transit, understand that you should not be questioning nothing about what you feel like you're personally capable of because you had the sun transit in the first house. So this was the time that you started catching a bunch of influences of how your personality could be seen more, how you can express them, how you can experience more with your personal aspirations. You were being seen more around this time. Seems like you're probably gaining more attention. You started realizing more about your personal potential. All right, whether it was natural inspiration or it was manifested from the external realm. And this was also a time that you felt like all the things that you have personal knowledge and wisdom about, this is the time for you to find ways to apply it or stand on those morals and ethics way more in this going into 2023. So now you have the new moon, which is exalted in the second house. All right. The moon loves transit in the second house because when she transits here, all she wants to do is bring understanding, care, and nurture to things that bring us stability and security and also provide a self esteem boost here. All right. So, right now, Sagittarius, suns and risings, understand you're going to keep manifesting influences throughout Capricorn season that get you to restrict people, places, and things that don't help you build in the second house, period. Don't help you build your values, uh, restricting positive, negative values. And with Capricorn here, Sagittarius rising, you get a great influence of that. You know how to grow up around people that smoke, drink, do this, that, and the third. Not to condemn anybody that smoke or drink. I used to smoke. It's not like I don't drink liquor, but just saying, Capricorn in the second house, you'll have a stronger influence of being able to not participate. And it sometimes is a thin line because as a Sagittarius sun rising, life could be a little reckless, unstable. A lot of things could be presented to you a lot of the times, new experiences, right? New things to explore. Drugs could be one of them. But you got Capricorn in the second house. So for one thing, you're gonna be really you're gonna like to initiate and start things when it comes into what you value and the creativity or the what you feel like you have to offer to the world, what you feel like you're creatively inclined with, what you're spiritual, what you're creatively gifted with, what you're talented with, maybe something that you're artistically invested in. Second house is one of the most creatively inclined houses. All right. So when we got the new moon peaking here, understand Sagittarius sun rising. This is not a time for you to slack on yourself when it comes into building your value systems. This is the monetary gain house. This is the money house. So you'll be manifesting either shifts in career based off wanting to pour into something that you deem being a second house trait, right? Something that you're creative with, something that you're good at, that you're good with. This is the time you're going to be downloading new ways to monetize these things, create a platform for these things. It's a new moon, so there's a lot of creation energy. Okay. And then uh as far as that Capricorn Saturn energy being here and the sun transiting here, It's just going to continue to bring awareness as to, you see that person? Nope. All those second house values and aspirations you have, that person that you're valuing is not going to be able to help. That relationship that you value not be able to help. This bad habit you have that you're valuing is not going to be able to help. We need to throw our value here, throw our value there. That the sun is going to do that in the second house while motivating and inspiring you to continue to see your potential of what your value is. Okay? Very important. I love second house transits. Okay. Who don't like to get a little bit more stable out this mother? All right. So that's something you definitely want to keep in mind around this time. And the sun was squaring the new moon and the sun was squaring Jupiter in the fifth house. Jupiter in the fifth house. So we got Jupiter in the fifth house. So for one, we're talking about everything with the second house being initiated for you, Sag Sun, Sag Rising. So this is a time where you know your talents, creativity, what you value within yourself, all of these things are created a new foundation to be implemented and have more of a stain, more of a significance in your life, right? Something to be exercised and utilized some more when we talk about your second house traits. Now we got Jupiter in the fifth house. So going into 2023, this year is all about you experiencing and exploring the stage, dealing with attention, dealing with audience, dealing with people seeing you for these second house traits. This is the square that comes with both of these houses. All right. So we got ourselves connecting our value to the world in the second house. And then when we get into the fifth house, you know, sometimes we get some attention for that. We get a status for that. You know, we get seen for that in some type of way. And we got to learn how to deal with that, how to move with that. A lot of you guys are going to get on the camera for the first time this year. A lot of you guys are going to do events and things that put the spotlight on you this year. And whether you feel vulnerable or not, these are things to embrace. That's what Jupiter is bringing to the fifth house. All right. A lot of you guys that are already into something creatively, artistically, this is a great year for you to take that course, get that coach, get that mentor, or put yourself in an environment. You're gonna attract it, but get yourself in an environment where you could learn more about what you're doing. So if you're R&B artist, get a vocal coach or get a vocal coach. Get around somebody that's experienced with songwriting. Like these are the things Jupiter and the fifth house are going to be pushing you to do to get knowledge about your creative craft. Also, you know, if this for you guys that are planning to have children, this is a great time. Jupiter in the fifth house could be a huge initiator for children in your life. Uh and you know, what I was about to say. If you don't want to have children, understand this. If you don't want to have children, understand this. Jupiter in the fifth house make everything more potent when it comes into intimacy. All right. So understand that. But yes, this is definitely gonna be another thing is a lot of y'all gonna be understanding what your inner child been missing. Jupiter rules experiences. So when it comes into that inner child, whatever the inner child didn't get to experience that still needs to be fulfilled. This is a great year to tap into that, initiate that, get back into that, find out what that is. All right. That's gonna help bring more stability to your second house. Okay. So that's what we got going on with that. Okay. Now, Capricorns. Capricorn sun risings in the building. Okay. Y'all know this is y'all time to shine. This is y'all time to shine. Shout out to my Cap Rising gang. Y'all already know what it is, man. You already know what it is. So when we look at for one, the first house, the new moon peaked in that first house. So this is your personality, this is your life path. All right. Capricorn suns, Capricorn risings. You know, more so Capricorn rising when we talk about the life path. But obviously, Capricorn sun goes through a lot of the same experiences as a Cap rising, and attracts a lot of the same energies. And when it comes into becoming a master builder, all right, I like to say that for all Earth signs, but Capricorn in that first house, uh, this is your personal outlook in the world. You, and even when you're not as disciplined, stable, structured in your first house, this is your innate knowing that you know you're always trying to get implemented into your first house, regardless. This is your true nature. All right. Sometimes you'll cut things off because you feel like if I add that into my first house, it's gonna take away from time for the things I need to be building that I'm not working on. All right. So understanding how to manage your time and being the personal example of what stability, security, discipline, order, structure looks like. So with the sun transit in the first house, the new moon peaking in the first house, a lot of you guys, this was a this, I like to say sun transit in the first house alignments is like a personal evolution. This is the sun in its exaltation here. So when it comes into everything about how you personally express yourself to the world, how you're seen in the world, how much action and light and awareness and attention you're giving your personal aspirations and goals, they're lit up right now. Okay. And all the things that come with Saturn principles, Saturn rules your chart. So everything that comes with Saturn principles, discipline, managing your time, order, this, that, and the third. This is the time that not only are you feeling like your life can make a huge shift by you staying consistent with these natural traits you already have. All right. Not only that, but this is a time where not only are you going to be seen as an example for those things, but you feel like it's an easier time for you to get aligned with these things. This is your natural personal outlook here. Okay. So you can be really cutthroat with cutting things off right now, Capricorn Sun risings. Y'all could be really cutthroat with cutting things off. Happy birthday to all my Cap sons in the building. All right. Y'all could be really cutthroat right now. So be careful being impulsive with it. But most likely, 90% of the time, the things that you feel impulsive to cut off are going to be things that you have a low patience for because you see how it's adding resistance to what you want to build. And the sun transit in your first house, new moon peaking in your first house is just a reminder for how much time is not to be wasted. All right. So I'm already feeling that energy. It's been a week and change. The sun is 9 degrees, and I'm already like, all right, I can't fuck with this motherfucker no more. I can't be here no more. Listen, it's cap season, period. We cutting cords. Okay. So it's a continuous theme of y'all understanding how to use Saturn to chop and block shit. If you don't know how to detach, restrict, refrain from things in life, you just for everybody, you for everything. So where's your self identity? Where's the things that you hold precious? Where's the things that you're putting your time into and stabilizing, or your time is just for everybody, it's just for the world? So we can't be out here floating, guys. And regardless of your sign, your placements, understand that we need to continue to embrace that during these two first seasons of the winter solstice, Capricorn season and Aquarius season. Okay. And Capricorns, with all that being said, you are the example of this energy right now. So you guys not exercising Saturn energy right now, this will not be a nice cap season for cap suns and risings. This will not be a nice cap season if you are not exercising the things that you know are needed in your life when it comes into Saturn principles. At the end of the season, Capricorn suns risings, there should be some things that was in your life that should not be in your life at the end of this at the end of the season. Whether it was certain habits, well, certain relationships, were certain ways of thinking about your personal goals and aspirations in some type you're doing construction work in this first house as a self evolution. And with all that being said, the new moon peaked here, so we know this is a platform for starting new things with your first house. So all, like I said, all new personal aspirations and goals, things you want to express to the world, things you want to start, is no more than a more fruitful time than now. Okay, so we had the new moon peak here, and then it was squaring Aries, Jupiter in the fourth house. All right, squaring that fourth house. So understand this is Jupiter's exaltation here, Capricorn rising. This is Jupiter's exaltation being in that fourth house. So Jupiter is going to spend 2023 uplifting all emotional burdens, all traumas, but it comes through you embracing the shadow work. It comes through you embracing vulnerable conversations with loved ones. It comes from you taking the initiative and making the effort, right, to exercise a more stable home environment. And it could be the little things that you do gradually throughout the year. Changing the scents in your home. Get you a nice little fish tank like me. All right, get you a nice little fish tank in the home. Add some, hear that little water dripping while you're sleeping. All right, change the feng shui up, the people, places, and things that enter your home environment. On top of conversations with some parents, conversations with family, conversations with your wife or husband, conversations about your children that need to be had. All right, this is the year that we could uplift so many burdens in this fourth house. Like I said, traumas and wounds. Ex, expect Jupiter to bring you so much wisdom by you penetrating and navigating the subconscious. Your knowledge and wisdom your knowledge is supposed to expand in 2023 when it comes to understanding your subconscious, what affects your subconscious, knowing what makes you feel comfortable, right? And what makes you feel uncomfortable, understanding how to heal. All right. You got Jupiter here, so you may be the spokesperson. You may be the one having to teach in some type of shape or form when it comes into leading with this things about the subconscious. Okay. So hold on one second, guys. All right, sorry guys. So yeah, that Jupiter transit in the fourth house is no joke, family. Is no joke. Okay. It can throw you into some situations where you may have to exercise some humility. All right. Like I said, it may be some uncomfortable shifts of energy that you have to navigate this house in order to bring understanding. All right. There will be situations where you will have to learn to be the bigger person in the home or with relationships with loved ones in order to keep uh in order to at least keep a cordial understanding with relationships in the home. It may be a lot of bigger moments having to be bigger because it's not so much about you trying to get your mother, your father, your family members to understand you more. It's about you understanding what they also experience subconsciously, you understanding their subconscious nature so you know how to deal with them, you know what to expect with them, on top of everything that comes with the external areas of the home environment. Jupiter in the fourth house, not surprised if you move this year, right? Bring some expansion to where is it that you call home. All right. But with all that being said, that new moon peaking in the first house, it was a huge indicator of you finding some fourth house stability by investing in these personal goals and aspirations. You putting yourself first helps the fourth house grow, helps bring understanding to the fourth house around this time, Capricorn sun's rising. By default, a Capricorn placement feels out of place when they're not building and structuring something. So your fourth house is already turned up just because of that. All right. So you have to make sure that you notice the correlation in the relationship with the first and the fourth house going into 2023. All right. It's your world, Capricorn Suns Risings. Okay. It's your world right now. Once again, happy birthday to all my caps. Aquarius. Aquarius is all right. My winter solstice buddies. Aquarius. So your 12th house is activated. The 12th house is activated. All right. So when the 12th house is activated, everything dealing with your imagination, your subconscious. This is a subconscious water house. Things dealing with what you've experienced with the subconscious in the past. A lot of reflection. A lot of strong 12th house transits bring isolation. So you've had planets transiting here for the past 2 months. All right, maybe a little bit longer than that, but Venus and Mercury had a transit here, uh, and then they transited your first house. Now the sun and moon peaked in your first house. So all this being said, excuse me, not your first house, your 12th, excuse me, Aquarius. So all them planets was transiting your 11th, excuse me. We have Venus and Mercury transiting your 11th, going into your 12th. Now the sun is in the 12th. All right. So with Venus and Mercury transiting that 12th, there was a lot of dawning on these things, which are imagination, aspirations, traumas, things that affected you in the past, and your potential. Oh, that's a word I love with the 12th house. Your potential, right? When we talk about dreams, aspirations, these things are dealing with potential energy. So Venus and Mercury were seeing how to appreciate that, connect that, nurture it in some type of way. It was really heavily stimulated on the mind. Might have gotten to some conversations, some debates, arguments about defending some of these things, or might have felt the way with somebody critiquing some of these ideas and this and that and the third. That's why this is a great time when you have 12th house transit to be in your own space so you could be one with your own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And you're going to continue to be in that space with the sun transit in the 12th house because it's hard to listen to your 12th house energies. It's hard to listen to your subconscious when you are bombarded with things. So, subconscious transits, water house transits can bring that period. You got a lot of planets in your fourth house. You got a lot of planets in your eighth house. You definitely gonna be more of an introverted placement. I don't care if you got all fire air placements in that you could communicate all day every day. You could be expressive in person, but your ass want to be to yourself a lot of times. Your ass want to be to your own emotions at times, you know. So a lot of strong 12th house placements can do that. But like I said, with the sun transiting here, Capricorn in 12th house, your Aquarius, you always trying to find ways to make your dreams imagination real. You always trying to find ways to work the motherfuckers into reality. So this is a time where you can you know, utilize the sun transit in the 12th house to become more action oriented with these things, getting your hands on some resources to support your dreams and imagination, finding ways to learn about things in order to support your dreams and imaginations and your aspirations. This will be a time where you will be doing some self-counseling, all right? Or you'll be attracting energies to help you understand how you may be causing your own suffering at times, with the subconscious. That's so you got to be open to be taught so you could take accountability in that area. All right, Aquarius, Suns, Risings. But yes, this is definitely a time where you can initiate a lot of new things when it comes into 12th house energies, especially when it comes into you putting yourself in a better environment to heal. You should be Capricorn in the 12th, Saturn ruling over this house, restrictions, limitations, and boundaries. This is definitely be a time where anything that's a burden on the subconscious should be easy for you to cut it off right now, or at least detach from it, so you can build more understanding about why you attracted or why you like to connect to this person, place, or thing. So deep diving. There's a lot of deep diving for my Aquarius Suns risings. Okay. And where did the new moon in the 12th house peak? I mean, where did it square Jupiter? In the third house. It's squaring Jupiter in the third house. You got to be careful with those. They strong. You take two, you'll be out of here. So you gotta be careful with excuse me guys. So we got the planets in the 12th house, the new moon peaking, squaring the third. All right, squaring the third house. So Jupiter is up in that third house. So there's about to be some shifts taking place at where you live, your surroundings, either new roommates. You might move. You might be away from home for some reason for the majority of 2023. Whether you studying abroad, you're going to live away from home for a little minute, live with your peoples, distant relatives for something. You about to be on some spiritual retreat in another country, whatever it is. Jupiter in the third house is good for a whole new exploration that takes us away from what's familiar to us, from what our third house actually is. You feel me? How many you ate? Two. Okay, you're gonna be zooted, bro. I wanted to go home and smoke from work, but yeah, I'm about to wrap this up. Like I literally got like 10 more minutes. So I'm out. You out of here? Yeah. All right. You taking everything with you? The Did you hook it up? All right. Make sure you take the game and everything, because it's in this and everything. I got the cords and everything. All right. All right. Appreciate you, bro. All right. That was my brother, y'all. Sorry about that. Like I said, I've been a big family man this week. But so yeah, Jupiter's in that third house. Jupiter's opposite here, guys. Don't forget that. So Jupiter's opposite. So when they come into Jupiter being in the opposite house, it can bring a lot of energies where Jupiter expands you by keeping you distant from your third house. So you're learning new things about relationships. You're learning new things that's opposite to what you've been experiencing in your local surroundings, where you grew up with. You're gonna run into circumstances, especially relationships, that challenge certain ideals and habits that you get in your third house. So you guys can anticipate dating somebody and they start, peeping ways that you communicate or think about things or habits. And they're like, Where did you pick that up at? In your neighborhood, in your environment, around the siblings or cousins you had?" And you like, "Yeah, well, we can't be doing that, or we can't be thinking that way, or that's not proper ways to communicate and interact. Or those are not healthy relationship ideals." Jupiter in the third house, Aquarius, Sun risings, anticipate that. Anticipate that. This is a time for you to look at relationships from a broader level. Now, with the new moon taking place in that 12th house, this indicates that you take an initiative with 12th house aspirations and goals, right? Also, take placing effort in healing, in understanding your subconscious. This is what's going to open up more healthy experiences. Not saying Jupiter is just bringing negative experiences in the third house, but this is what's going to help. This is what's catapulting Jupiter in the third house to bring more fruitful relationships that can connect to those 12th house aspirations and goals. It's hard to build these new relationships if you're stuck into the same habits and the same you just conform to the same behaviors and things that uh you've been exposed to in the third house. But But with Jupiter transit in your third house and that new moon peaking in your 12th hitting Jupiter, it's showing if we put some more focus here on our subconscious, on what we want to do with our aspirations, what's heavy on our imagination, how we feel about our belief system and our spiritual path, that's going to open up some new relationships in this third house. That's what that square is showing. All right. Very important, Aquarius Suns risings. So I expect a lot of y'all to bump into tribe, into some soul tribe, possibly a soulmate and whatnot in 2023. Okay. But we got to take them 12th house energy serious. You got to take them 12th house series and serious. You'll know that you're not really in alignment if your relationships are reminding you of things that reminding you of how certain tendencies in your relationships are playing out, and when you realize, damn, these are things that I did pick up from my childhood. These are things that the traumas I got to work through, or things I need to go to therapy for, or things I need to just acknowledge and try to understand. You not trying to understand tendencies, relationship tendencies and whatnot, or even understand why you may be reluctant to jump into your 12th house, utilize your imagination, jump into exploring, experimenting with your dreams. You have to be open to learning these things. You can bring so much understanding and make so much progress with 12th house, third house like energies, new relationships, right? And then, your dreams and aspirations, you can make a lot of progress in that area by holding yourself accountable and being open to learning. But learning through subconscious energies, learning through fourth, eighth house, 12th house transits takes humility. It takes accountability. Sometimes we don't want to look at how much we want to heal. Sometimes we don't want to look at how heavy the shadow is. Sometimes we don't feel like, the certain tendencies we picked up from our traumas and from our childhood. It don't I mean, they play out in my relationships here and there, but it's not that serious. Somebody could do no, 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 we're not doing that. And Aquarius Suns Rising, you have to understand that going to 2023, or can relationship activity can be real crazy this year. This is a year to usher in new fruitful relationships. This is a year to bring you closer to a third house environment that resonates with you. Whether you're moving to another place, or whether how you filter your third house in some type of shape or form, you're doing it with you're doing it in a wiser way. You're not allowing yourself to just connect to any friends, be around any social circle. You're not allowing certain habits that you developed in your third house just because it's a habit you've had forever. You're not allowing yourself to stay content with that. All right. So a lot of power going on there, Aquarius. All right. Just be open. Be open to learning about yourself 2023. Okay. And then we got my beloved Pisces Suns, Pisces risings. All right. The 11th house is activated. All right. The 11th house is activated. So you got Capricorn and 11th house Pisces. So we already know you got all type of creativity, all type of imagination in that first house bubble of yours. All right. But at times, y'all need a big push to get that out into the world. All right. Some of the most talented people could be some of the most talented people are Pisces risings and still be shy, but get on the stage and go crazy. Get on the stage. Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson always pop in my head when I think of Pisces risings. But even him, I spoke about him in the last live stream, talk about how hard of a critique he was on himself, even though I was more so highlighting his Virgo sun around that time. But like that Pisces sun rising, at times it take a little minute to get comfortable expressing your natural creativity, your natural spiritual awareness to the world, your natural creative gifts. All right. However, Capricorn in that 11th house, uh um a lot of the times here, you know you'll manifest situations where people in that 11th house want to build with you. Sometimes people in that 11th house, because this is also a sextile to your first house. So sometimes in 11th house, some people, Pisces risings, people in the external realm, people you don't know, colleagues, people in certain motherfucking charities, communities, group endeavors you're a part of, business partners or whatnot, just natural associates, people out in the world, people through the friends of a mutual friend. Like sometimes these people with Capricorn in your 11th house see your first house creativity, your first house knowledge and wisdom, and they be wanting to build with you. So 11th house be creating a lot of opportunities for either career, for you to connect with others that's into what you're creatively into, spiritually into. But sometimes you could deal with restrictions in this area. So sometimes you may feel like, because there's certain responsibilities and priorities, you don't get to deal with your 11th house as much. You don't get to be out and about as much as you like to. So that's something that you have to understand is not you being a victim here. That's you having to take more initiative to be in your 11th house, to socialize, network some more. But you got Capricorn here, so it's so much potential to deal with. networking and collaborative efforts that can become profitable, that can become stable for you. All right. So I'm big on my Pisces risings, Pisces suns, getting your energies out in that 11th house, no matter what people feel or see or think about you, especially having them Saturn influences there. Like I said, sometimes a lot of times people in that 11th house will appreciate, want to support what you do way more than people in that third house, people in that fourth house. All right. So but yeah, with the new moon peaking here, the sun transit in 11th house, you're about to understand how this whole season is going to be influencing you, showing you signs of what is it that you can bring into the 11th house, right? It's going to show what about your self-awareness, your self-expression. What is it that you understand about building and structuring? Okay. Not even just building and structuring because Capricorn here, but just your personal creativity, period, right? Just your personal value. How can I make this established in the 11th house? How can I connect it to others? Is there people I know in the 11th house that I can build with right now? So if you attract situations around this time, Pisces, Suns, Risings, where people do want to collab with you, network with you, hey, can you come participate in my event, this, that, and the third? You need to be jumping all over that type of shit with the sun transiting the 11th house, with the new moon peaking in the 11th house. There's so much opportunity waiting out for you in that 11th house. We also know the 11th house rules technology, communication, social media. So any ideas to experiment with any of these things, new moon, to start any of these things, start a new platform, start a new brand, something you want to service to others, something you want to make known in the 11th house, great time. Stupid great time, Pisces, Sun Risings. Understand that. All right. This is why some of y'all may feel like y'all on go time. Yes. Yes. As far as connecting to others outside of your familiar horizon, familiar surroundings. Okay. And then where's Jupiter transiting? In Aries in that second house. In Aries in that second house. All right. So Pisces Sun, Pisces Rising. This is your chart ruler too. This is Jupiter's your chart ruler. So the chart ruler just came out your first house. So you just went through a whole spiritual awakening in the past year. You just went through a whole personal shift in this last year. I know a lot of y'all done. I know a lot of y'all done had to shed so many energies in the first house. Certain personal relationships done dropped. Certain personal aspirations done changed. Yeah, the certain people, places, and things that y'all were connecting to, y'all thought was healthy. Y'all realized this shit is no good. This is the shit that's keeping me back from the things I want to do. It may have been some crazy transformation or crisis moments with Jupiter in the first house if you were not applying your natural knowledge and wisdom that you have about anything, relationships, energies, understanding how to uh, uh cater to your subconscious, your emotions through past hurt, past traumas, embracing healing here. So yeah, all of that being said, that was all the energies that came with you not applying and establishing and exercising your natural Jupiter morals in the first house. A little bit too much floating that past year may have, Jupiter may have had to sit you down several times for you to move with purpose in the first house. Okay. Now, Jupiter in the second house. Jupiter in the second house. So you went through this whole spiritual evolution with the chart ruler transiting out the first house. Now it's in Aries in the second house. So this is a time that when it comes to your value system, a lot of these things can bring expansion into your life, positive expansion into your life if they're positive values. But negative values, valuing negative people, places, and things, Jupiter can make this a living hell. Jupiter can make it a living hell because everything about Jupiter is high, light, righteous, positive, right? Wise. There's going to be a lot of learning as to why your self-esteem shifts the way it does based off what you connect to, what you're into, how you're feeding, what you're feeding yourself mentally, spiritually speaking. Okay. Jupiter's going to remind you in the second house how long you've been experienced or talented, or how long you've been experienced with this certain talent or creative gift. So Jupiter may get to a point like, damn, are we gonna teach others about this gift? Are we gonna show others, give other people our creative awareness, or like, are we just gonna sit here with these second house traits? So there's gonna be a lot of that too. So I say all that to say, with the new moon and the sun in that 11th house, peaking in that 11th house, Pisces sun, Pisces rising, that energy is connected to Jupiter in the second. So the more you can make an effort to connect to the 11th house, you embrace communicating, sending your message, your awareness out into the world, just allowing yourself to be in that social arena and exercise things with communication a bit more, communicating your individuality. What other planet is home in the 11th house? Uranus. So when we get into the 11th house, we're embracing, showing the world what's different about me, what's unique about me. So that's what I be meaning when I talk about connecting to the 11th house. It just doesn't mean make sure you go out every weekend, this, and that, third. No. How do you find the things that you can either help people with, you're creatively inclined with, awareness that you have? How can you make that establish in the 11th house some more? Whether it's a community you start, some type of collaborative effort, putting yourself in environments around others to possibly create, opportunities, to relate with other social circles, soul tribe, people that relate, maybe that are into the things you're individually into, in whatever type of shape or form. Okay. The sun's transiting here, so it's gonna manifest these opportunities. Period. All right. So not only may you want to catch that, not only may you catch that natural inspiration to want to start something dealing with the 11th house, you may just attract that by default. Like I said, coworker wants to invite you to an event, take you a place you never been, around people you never been before. You need to jump on that with the sun in 11th house and bring your business cards, Pisces, sun, Pisces. Bring your business cards. So you exercising all of those energies more, embracing those 11th house energies creates more foundation, more expansion and opportunity for your second house to be seen in the 11th house, for your talents, your creativity, and your value to be seen in the second house. I mean, in the 11th house. So, Pisces and Pisces rising, 2023 is going to be, especially during the winter solstice, being a great time to initiate these things. 2023 is going to be a huge year when it comes into finding ways to connect your second house, your value, into the world, establishing that platform, brand, business, you know, or whatever form of technology communication that you can connect things dealing with your second house traits, your creativity, your artistry, your talents, your awareness about these things, any expertise you have with helping people understand how to build structure or deal with their self-esteem, all of these things, you're going to be pulled to connect into the 11th house in some type of shape or form. And every opportunity that you manifest related to that is something you need to jump on. You need to jump on it. All right. So that's what we got going on, family. That's what we got going on. This took 45 minutes. Y'all know I ain't never getting through 45 minutes. I ain't never doing all signs in 45 minutes in a live stream, but I do hope you guys are able to bring confirmation to a lot of these energies that you're feeling throughout this week. A lot of decisions or shifts that decisions you have to make, or shifts that you're picking up on early this Capricorn season already. All right, guys. So with that being said, I got some 2023 reports I'm working on for all signs over the weekend. I'll be posting those on Patreon or whatnot, but we're gonna have a live stream most likely covering things for the whole year, and I'm still gonna hover over certain important things for all signs, anyways. All right, just gonna go a little bit more in depth on the Patreon. So I hope this brought some clarity and confirmation to you guys. Once again, I hope everybody's in some positive spirits as we enter 2023. Hope everything's all good with you and your loved ones, family. Peace.